Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Sam is completely behind the controls. He's not even coming in as the ghost of Sam Wu, which has happened in the past. So right now, it's me and Beer Baron. Apparently, no one can hear me.
Dos amigos.
There you go.
Now I hear you.
Now I hear you.
I can hear you.
Perfect. Sweet.
Yeah.
But I was just saying it's just you and I was filling in for Sam. Apparently, Sam from the control booth said yes, we can hear you. Awesome.
Okay,
so happy Devils Sunday. How you doing, Beer Baron? Doing well?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. How are you doing? How are you doing from your epic journey?
I am doing well. I am. This is the last hour in which I need to be awake for the weekend, and then maybe I can start catching up. To fill anyone who's listening in, I did a crazy 50-hour trip to Dublin for the weekend to catch the U.S.-Ireland soccer match, and I hardly slept at all. I'm Bobby Manella just asked how was Ireland. Bobby, I'm just saying it. Ireland's awesome. If you ever get a chance, Beer Baron, visit Ireland. I had so much fun. I have to go back. I'm currently having a little Baileys that I picked up on the way out in my brand new Jameson glass, so all is well. My last beverage of the weekend. It's got to be something Irish. Really cool trip, and actually, we decided to go to the Jameson distillery, and as we're there hanging out, what do I see? I see a guy wearing a Vegas Golden Knights jersey in Dublin.
No, that's crazy.
So I go up and talk to him, and I'm asked, and I'm just curious. I'm like, is he from Vegas? Did he just buy the jersey? Whatnot? He has playoff tickets. I can't remember if he said he was a season ticket holder, and he said he was at Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and they had made this trip to Ireland prior to obviously knowing they'd be in the Cup Final. So I got to ask him. I was like, the atmosphere on TV looks phenomenal. Is it like that in person? He said it's even better. So that was so cool to meet someone from Vegas.
That's awesome. That's good news.
Yeah, and that just they've created such an atmosphere in that building, in that town, and everything with that. So it was pretty cool to meet someone that's from Vegas, that's a fan of Vegas, and has been to the games. He said the next game they have tickets to is Game 7. So for his case, in his case, hopefully he gets to see that Game 7, and that it doesn't end in the negative for him while he's in Ireland. But still, it was a cool chance meeting.
It is pretty cool. That is pretty. What are the chances of bumping into that guy? But I mean, it looks like Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals are on one hell of a mission right now. That dude is playing like he's elevated his game beyond his entire career. Like he's always been a superstar. There's no doubting that. But now he's blocking shots. He's selling out. He's playing defense. He's the one thing that was always apparent about OV is every time he didn't have the puck, you could see him just kind of look like he's just waiting for a play to develop to come to his way, but he wouldn't really go out of his way to kind of make the effort to disrupt the play or block a shot.
Disconnected a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. But this dude, he is a man on fire. We could have a Russian captain in the White House. That's going to be kind of funny, huh?
Yeah, right. But I mean, let's. But think about the year that he's had so far. It was an Olympic year, which he was not allowed to play, which he wanted to play,
which they won gold,
and they won gold. He is now finally in the Stanley Cup Finals. He's finally gotten past the Penguins in the Stanley Cup Finals. In fact, making all the way to the finals, and it's the first time since I believe 97 was when the Caps were in it last.
97, 98, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So it's been a long time for the franchise itself. Yeah, he's got a mission there at his hands. And then on the other side of the ice, you have Marc-Andre Fleury who wants to prove something that he can still do it as well.
Yeah,
and
exactly. And I got to tell you,
all the misfits that are Vegas.
Seriously, I got to tell you, it has been a lot of fun to watch this series. I mean, the entire playoffs, like I've said before, like the NHL playoffs, it's a different beast. And even once the Devils get eliminated, like I'm still tuned in, every single game. And I just want to point out the fact that it's not the same two teams and the same, final 4 years in a row like some other sports. But it's just there's so much intrigue, and there's just like the games are such high energy. And Doc Emmerich, man, I love Doc. And it just brings like such a different. Oh heck yeah! I mean, we were so spoiled for such a long time having Doc as our play-by-play. But I mean,
that's how we grew up.
He can make a guy going. Yeah, he can make a guy like getting a drink of water on the bench sound super exciting. So it's been incredible. And I honestly, like I said from the beginning, I'm kind of pulling for the Caps because I would like to see Ovechkin, raise the cup. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I would love, obviously, and you would also love the Devils being the Cup Finals right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to watch this Cup Final stress-free without.
Yeah, exactly.
It really, to me, I can go either way with either team winning. Personally, I'm pulling for Vegas, but if they don't win, it's not like I lose out on anything.
Mm-hmm.
If the Caps win, Ovechkin gets a cup. If Vegas wins, it's an incredible story.
Yeah.
Either way, it's good hockey. That's for sure.
Yeah, dude. It's like the entire series has been great. The entire playoff run for both teams has been a lot of fun to watch. Like you said, like Vegas, it's been like super cool just to watch a team that basically a lot of guys were thought of as just like you said, like the misfits, right? Even Marc-Andre Fleury, everybody was like, well, Murray's the new guy. See you later. And I was listening to a great interview from McPhee this week, and he was talking about how, on paper, people were like, oh, this is a good team, but they're nothing special. And he said, getting a lot of things together during the trade deadline. And, in my personal opinion, they need to put Thomas Tatar back into the lineup. And you send that many draft picks over to Detroit to get this guy here. You got to utilize him. You got to put him in the lineup. He's there for a reason. But I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. I think that the Capitals are going to win in 6. I've been saying that from the beginning, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Vegas tie the series up tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And then the Caps take the next 2. But if this went to 7, it wouldn't be surprising either. So
no.
But you're right.
And
it's so relaxing. It's so nice. It's so fun to just enjoy it.
I think it would be fun to see this go all the way to Game 7. I think a decisive Game 7 in Las Vegas would be pretty wild. But also to see the Caps win it in 6 in Washington, the place would lose its mind. My sister lives in the Alexandria area, and she's excited just by default because, she's lived down in that area for, 5-8 years, something like that. So the whole area is going nuts. They even have a joke.
Yeah, they're already going nuts.
They, oh man, I'm going to kill this joke, and I really should ask her how it was, but they have a drink called an Ovechkin. It's a white Russian with no cup.
With no cups, yeah.
So yeah, that was what she did today. So they're all, obviously Washington wants their team to win and Ovechkin to finally win it. And who knows? This may be his one and only chance. This could be it.
It could be. He's already getting up there in age. All right, so we need to address a few things that are going on the Facebook group right now. Number one, our buddy Michael is asking us, what do you think the Devils' third jersey is going to be? Does he think it's going to be the old green and red? Douglas Walker thinks it's going to be the all black with the regular logo.
I
think
saw
they
a couple
should do something
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, which would look pretty sweet. I would like to see the all black. I think that would be pretty sweet. I would definitely buy one right away. I think they would get the most jersey sales if they did like an all black, as they call murdered out jersey.
What about all black? What about black with red and green trim?
Yeah, with that dark green, like that super dark forest green.
I think that would be
I think they
awesome.
I think that'd be pretty sweet. And the other question that was kind of floated out there was a few things that the Devils need to address. This is from your boy Robert. He said address the Devils' assistant coach, because their assistant coach has now gone to Calgary, and the Devils moving up in the draft. Now, I don't know if they're going to move up in the draft.
About them moving down in the draft,
which is a possibility too. Yeah. They could definitely move down. They could even trade out that pick. A 17th pick is like that's what you call a good value pick, because it's good enough value to, pry somebody away from another team that you could use that to move up or to barter some chips moving down. So they're in a good position either way.
Oh, I agree. With Coach, with Coach Ward leaving, the Devils need to find a new power play architect, because he was in charge of the power play. Him going to Calgary. Calgary was a mess, so I guess they're trying to rebuild their rebuild their disaster. So we got to make sure that I'm sure whoever Coach Hines is going to hire is going to be someone that he completely trusts to run that power play, unless he decides to shift that to someone else. And maybe bring someone else in at a in a different capacity. However, the power play is going to have to be something that's going to be addressed. And as far as the pick is concerned, I think that the leading into draft day, it's going to be. I think the Devils might do some interesting stuff on draft day. We've got, like you said, a tradable pick, and it's something we can do. It's 17. I mean, Brodeur was drafted, 22? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Hey, man. Last time the Devils had a 17th pick, they got Zach Parise.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like I said, 17 holds a lot of value. It's not like a top 10, but it's in that mid-range, and there's a lot of really good, solid players that come in that mid-range area. And, like I said, if you were the Devils and you were looking to – you got to look at some of these teams that might be cap-strapped, and which I have to start digging up, because these are things as we start getting closer to the draft. And this is the type of stuff that I love to look up and start to research, is like, what teams can they make that Marcus Johansson deal, or that, a deal for somebody that another team just flat out can't afford. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. They have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, they definitely do, and they have all the potential in the world to do really good with trades and drafting. And I have not done any research into the draft yet because I just haven't shifted from season to draft. I'm waiting for the cup to be lifted, and then I'll start doing some draft research because we'll be a week or two away from it at that point.
Yeah, same here. That's the same thing I was thinking.
Yeah, from what I've been told, it's a pretty deep draft this year, so that's always a positive too. With 17, you may have someone that's like dying to get someone and wants to snatch them up. That's where you may get one of those desperation trades, or you may be able to trade a pick and then trade that, flip that pick right away. It's a lot can happen, and as we saw over the course of the season, Shiro is willing to do a lot of things to improve this team.
He is. Now there's been a lot of talk, and it doesn't matter like if it's there's a lot of speculation that happens now in this time of the year, and once it starts getting closer to draft day, it'll start building up even more, because that's what usually you'll see a few deals happen around draft day or on draft day. If anybody remembers, that's also when we got Corey Schneider was on draft day. I remember up to that point, because after that I got blackout drunk. But
I was the DD that day. I was the DD that day for our buddy Hans, and yeah, it was a good time. Dude, even as a DD, it was a good time.
Exciting time. It was an exciting time. I remember I was, oh my God, we found Marty's successor. This is fantastic. I'm going to get blackout drunk now. And then I accomplished all those goals. And you wake up the next day and you're okay. But no, honestly, there's a lot. But
here's the question. Stop. Did you remember when you woke up the next day? Did you remember the trade even happened?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't, because we were drinking the entire time before it, and then during it, and then after. But I remember as soon as it happened, we went crazy. We're all like, "Yeah, this is great." And the Devils were the 9th pick that year, and
yes.
So it was relatively early, and I was like, "Yo, we're staying. We're going to stay this whole time." And so since we're staying, we're like, we're drinking this whole time. And I've told this story before, but I made my way down onto the draft floor, and
yes,
I bribed the security guard with food. It was fantastic. It was a great day. And then just you remember up to a certain point, and then the rest is just gone. So
and then you safely made it home, and you woke up, and you just woke up.
You just woke up. You're like, hey, I got my wallet, I got my phone, I got my glasses. All right, I'm good.
Yeah, no, that was a good time. And my takeaway from that day was everyone was booing Bettman relentlessly, and then all of a sudden he's like, "You might want to hear this," and everyone was like,
"Yes, yep." Wait, what's going on?
Everyone was like, "What is he talking about?" And then that's when the trade was announced. So, but yeah, so we have we have options this year. That's without a doubt.
So I got a quick question, and this I'll propose this to our friends that on Facebook, because I said this to you and Sam earlier. I said, do you think that the Vegas fans, if they win the cup, are allowed to boo Gary Bettman? Because if you think about it, he was the one that orchestrated them becoming a team and a franchise out in the desert when a lot of people kind of scoffed at the idea. He was the one that kind of reconfigured the draft. The whatever draft to set the team up. He was the one that kind of orchestrated that entire situation. And if I was a fan of that fan base, I'd be like, well, I can't really be mad at the dude. He's the reason we're here. So are they allowed to boo? And Sam's response, by the way, was if they're real hockey fans, they'll boo.
Well, they're allowed to do whatever they want, first off. And second of all, it's possible if Vegas wins, it'll be the first time, and as long as I can remember, that Gary Bettman might not be booed when he hands out the Stanley Cup if it's in Vegas. If it's in Vegas, they very well could could go for it and just cheer the man to death, because you're right. He's the reason why that franchise is there.
I think he might have a heart attack. Everybody cheers him.
Yeah, well, you got to think he might have some idea that they could, be positive towards him. He just may not know how to handle that.
He'll be like the Ark of the Covenant. Like everybody will start cheering, and he'll start melting like that dude.
Yeah, right. Don't look. And he's like, everyone's melting, and awful graphics for when that movie was made.
Just claymation, man. Hey, that was cutting edge for its time. Right?
It really was. No, it really was. I don't take anything away. That's an awesome movie. But yeah, it is absolutely possible they cheer him.
Yeah, and and going back to the draft, it will be like you said. This draft is like super deep. There's a lot of speculation of them making some sort of moves. There's speculation of them trying to go after Erik Karlsson. So the last time I read, and that's all speculation. Speculation just means it could be all BS, But the last that I was reading is if Shiro were able to pull that deal, it would probably take like Zaka, McLeod, and 2 first-round picks just to get Karlsson, and then it's not even a guarantee that he'll re-sign for next year. So that's a huge gamble and a lot of chips to throw at. He's one of the best players in the league. There's no doubt. But would you be willing? Here's another question for everybody. Would you be willing to part with that much to get Erik Karlsson here?
You may. Now, I don't know the intricacies about rules when it comes to negotiating trades and all this. I wonder if they would be able to talk to Karlsson ahead of time, be like, listen, if we trade for you and we give, a ton to get you, what are the chances of you re-signing? I wonder if they're able to have those type of advanced talks with him prior to the trade happening.
See, that's the thing is I don't know if that's considered tampering, and I don't know what the actual language of all that stuff is. Yeah. I know, like in Major League Baseball, like you can't, like a player can't even talk to another player to be like, hey, you should come and sign with us. When you're ready to become a free agent, like you get fined for that kind of stuff. And by the way, I agree with Douglas Walker. I do want to see Mikey McLeod up here. I think you've been
mentioning him all year.
Dude, I think that kid's going to be. I think he's going to be a stud. Like I really do. He's got a lot of the right tools. He's like he needs to put some meat on his bones, but I feel like he's going to be a solid NHLer.
And then Douglas just came here with sign and trade. I'm assuming he means Karlsson. Douglas, if you could,
that could be an option.
Douglas, if you're listening, can you just clarify sign and trade who? Ottawa has agreed to that. Bryin says so. We have. Oh, Sam. Where's the Price Right losing more for that comment?
Sam just said that the scouts say that Mikey McLeod sucks.
Yeah.
I would like to see that in writing, sir. See, okay, so Eric Burns, he's saying, I do not. So Eric Burns says, I wouldn't give up that much for Karlsson. Let's not do what Philly did, and they gave Colorado their cups just to get Lindros. That is very true. They also gave the LA Kings their cups too to get rid of Carter and Richards. So that would, oh my God, what a stupid trade. Simmons is a good player, but come on.
Yeah, it's I don't want to give away too much. But just from what Shiro's done this season, I don't think he would give away too much. He'd be willing to improve the team and to make sure that he's not giving away too much because we're not very far off from having a full complete team that's going to compete for the cup. We're a piece or two away. So you're not going to, do addition by subtraction. Take away 3 pieces to get 1, and you still need to get 2 more pieces back. So he's going to be smart with it.
Yeah,
and
no, I agree. He's showing that track record. I think so too. It's just See, even, and I brought this up too, you know, his end of the year conference with everybody, he even said if you would have told him he was going to get Taylor Hall, you know, this time the year before, he would have said, you know, that's great, but I don't know if that would be even possible. You know, the same thing about Paul Mary. Like he never knows like what's going to happen at the end of the year, and things just kind of evolve. So who knows what's going on behind the scenes? That's what's fun about all the speculation, because there's still the John Tavares talk, and we haven't even touched on the fact that Lou Lamoriello is now building the Devils of the Devils of the Island. Yeah, the New York Devils.
The Long Island Devils is what they'll be called.
Gordon the Fisherman's, he looks a little strange, doesn't he? You know, horns now and a tail. Yeah,
seriously. The he may come in and Sammy had brought up about Lou, you know, coming in and poaching from the Devils, and the possibility of someone like Stevens going there, Bryin going there as coaching staff, and then Brodeur leaving St. Louis to help with the Islanders. Now, I had also heard that Tavares was only staying if Garth Snow remained as GM. I had heard that.
That's a weird.
That is, and that's exactly my thought too. That's really weird, because what has Garth Snow done as GM that's been positive, aside from saddle the organization with the Rick DiPietro contract? Is one of the worst things to give to a goaltender made out of porcelain. It's like,
yeah,
and that was coming from an Islander fan too. That said that Tavares wants to work with that Tavares wants Garth Snow. So,
I mean, if he does, he does. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, that's another big giant question mark. I'm just reading through a lot of the questions and stuff that we're getting from Facebook. Which, by the way, thank you to everybody that's chiming in. Bryin said, "Would you rather sign Tavares or John Carlson?" I'd rather sign both of them. To answer that question, in a perfect world, I would love to see, you know, Carlson come back home to Jersey and Tavares come over here, because then we'd instantly become a legitimate cup contender. And if let's be honest, if Corey Schneider wasn't hurt and going to be out for 5-6 months, you could also even have that conversation of, would he be up on a trading block? Because do you give the keys to Keith Kincaid, because he's shown you a lot, and then he showed you even more when he went to the world championship. So, like you said, they have a ton of great options.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on Kincaid played very well. I'm still not sold on him giving him the keys just yet. It's that injury that Snyder came back, you know, that's a hard injury to come back from. So he wasn't going to play well, and Kincaid was doing well. And we talked about riding the hot hand. Ride the hot hand, you have to do it. I'm still not convinced that Kincaid is completely the guy to give the keys to, because when we got, I know it was a whole team meltdown, and you can't blame it just on the goalie, because it wasn't completely his fault, but it's I don't know. I'm just not convinced. I'm not convinced with him yet. So,
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It seems like everybody likes him, though. You know, he's got a great personality. He's just kind of like,
oh, I agree.
You know, like, you're one of those guys. And I'm not taking anything away from Schneider or saying that I would like to see Schneider get traded away. And I know there's a couple guys that are asking about Zajac, or asking about, you know, talking about Andy Green, or, you know, saying, and there's a lot of these guys that are getting up there in age. Like, the point of getting a Carlson, or the point of going either or of those Carlsons, by the way, the point of getting one of those guys is, like, you can then put Andy Green on your third pair, you know, or even on your, you don't have to put him up on the top line or put him on the PK, or, you know, put him in situations where he's logging, you know, a ton of minutes. He'll be serviceable as, like, you know, kind of more of a fill-in role. And that would be great, because you can still rely on him. There's also, by the way, a lot of speculation that which is the word of the night, that Taylor Hall is going to be getting the captaincy from Andy Green. I don't know if I find that to be 100% true or what, but
well, and that's what I was going to ask you, bringing up the situation of moving, bringing in some defensemen and bumping Andy Green down. Does he remain the captain? So I wouldn't be upset seeing Taylor Hall get the captaincy. And it wouldn't shock me if that did happen, but it wouldn't shock me if it didn't happen either. He's proven himself as a leader without having the C on his jersey. He's said all the right things. He's done all the right things. He doesn't, and you don't always need that C on your sweater to be a captain. And he's proven that.
Yeah, that's true. Bryin says, "What do you think about James Neal and John Carlson?" I would take that too. James Neal's he's a grinded out player, and I think that he kind of was getting a bad rap in Pittsburgh. Showed himself last year in Nashville, and is showing himself even more out in Vegas. And I think Nashville just had way too many good players that they needed to protect, and he was just, unfortunately, one of the casualties of an unfortunate situation. Otherwise, he still would have been in Nashville. He's great. I think there's tons of knocks on Carlson because of his defensive prowess, and people say that he's not the greatest defender, but his offensive side more than makes up for that. And I think he's a pretty damn good defenseman, personally. But you inject at least even Carlson into the lineup, and that's not even a guarantee that he's going to leave Washington. I think if they win the cup, he sure is gone. That's just, I'll throw more speculation into the air. Every time I say that word, you should drink.
Not today. It's a work.
But got to go to work tomorrow.
In 4 weeks. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But if they win the cup, I could see him being more than happy to say, like, hey, you know what? I did my part. We finally did it. We got the cup here in Washington. It's been one hell of a ride, but you know what? I want to see other women. I want to see other cups.
But then he's going to cost more.
He probably will. He probably will cost you like anywhere between 6 and 7.
Especially if he's coming up off a cup win. Eric brought up in the group, do you think Kincaid will use it as motivation to become a without a doubt number one? I think he needs to. I think that will definitely be what he's gonna take what he learned last season. He's gonna take what he learned at the Worlds, and he's going to use that to try to become that number one. And you really do want that competition between your goaltenders, because you want them to push each other to get the best out of each of them. You want them to be a good duo that are going to work well together and are going to push and motivate each other. That's exactly what you want. So I really hope that Kincaid does use that as as motivation to become a number one, get that number one, mindset and attitude, and then go from there.
Yeah, dude, in the worst case scenario, you get that situation where you have two guys that are pushing for number one. You get right up to the trade deadline and you just say, you know what? we're going to flip one of our number ones, bring up Appleby, who's shown that he can play at the NHL level.
He did well.
And you get yourself a nice little, toy to play with, either a bunch of really juicy draft picks, or you get yourself like a nice, plug and play player that's going to be able to help you out. And Douglas Walker brings up JVR. Heck yeah, dude. I'm a huge Van Riemsdyk fan, and I feel like he's another guy that would bolster he's a very Palmieri-ish type of player. A lot of people will say he's like a very Palmieri kind of player, but with a little bit more offensive upside to him. But I think he would be a good fit to the team. Another Jersey boy coming back home. It's just, there's a lot of things that I think they plug in 2 or 3 things. You don't want to, mess with things too much. That's going to throw the catalyst of what they had, what they built up last year. You don't want to throw that off too much. But you do, you plug in those few little pieces, and I think they have a deeper run next year.
Going back to what you were saying about having 2 number ones at the trade deadline, I think that you would only trade them at the deadline for something like picks if you're not in a playoff contention. If you are in playoff contention and you are going to trade that goalie, you're going to trade that goalie to someone who you're not going to face at all. Someone who's probably not in the playoffs. Exactly. And
or somebody that's in the West.
Well, yeah, but even that is, if you come up with the final, but that piece that you're going to trade them for has got to be ready-made. If I can talk, sorry, it's been a long day. Ready-made.
You're jet lagged, it's all right.
Yeah, and on no sleep whatsoever. We decided to just stay up until we had to leave for the plane. Yeah. You want, though, someone that's going to be ready-made, like you said, plug and play right into your lineup, that's going to fill a gap, that's going to get you over the line, and you have to be completely confident that the guy you're putting out the door is the guy that you don't need of the two.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And, it's the worst when you send down a guy and you're like, this is it. This is the horse that we're going to ride the whole way through. And either, dude blows a tire or something happens and you're like, you're looking across the way and you're like, damn it, that dude's just the guy that we give. So then there's that too. You have Schneider, who seems like he's becoming a little bit more injury prone. So you have to feel like, do you keep that Kincaid around for insurance? But then that's going to start costing you money. And then how much are you really willing to spend on a backup goaltender? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Matt.
That's my only issue with trading one of the two of them is, what if an injury occurs? You need a good, solid goaltender, and they're both good, solid goaltenders. We've been very lucky. We both grew up with the fact that we had solid goaltending without injuries for the most part until later on in his career. We were never without Brodeur for a long stretch of time until what was his first big injury was when he busted his bicep. That's when Scott Clemenson stepped in, I believe.
And Clemenson came in and played amazing.
Did what Kincaid did, yeah. So thanks, Douglas. Yeah, more Baileys. I would love to have more Baileys, but this is the last one of the night. By the way, I got to say hi to my buddy Jojo, who just who joined in on the group. So what's up, Jojo?
Matthew says JVR would be a great addition to Hall. Yeah, anybody with Hall, like, just to give him that extra punch, just to take some of that, because you got to think Hischier's maturity is going to be there. He's going to be taking that next step. Hopefully, he doesn't go into a sophomore slump. You got to think Jasper Bratt's got to be improving. You saw a lot of flashes of what that kid could be. And there's a lot of people that hate on Pavel Zacha, and I'll bring up his name in a lot of trade scenarios, but Zacha was becoming one of our more solid players, like one of the better two-way players that we had on the team, especially towards the end of the year, going into that playoff series. He was becoming one of the more reliable defensive forwards that we had. So I wouldn't really give up on him too quick. I know he came out of the Seriana Sting with a lot of promise that he was going to be lighting the lamp a lot, but I think he still has the potential to be a decent guy out there. So I don't know. It's going to be nice. It's going to be like, it's going to be interesting to see what they put together this year. And I'll tell you what, in October, I hate to say it because I love the summer, but October can't come fast enough.
No, you're not allowed to say that. I'm not going to allow you to say such things.
Well, yeah.
I think that going back to what you said about the sophomore slump for Hischier, I think that Hischier is on the perfect team that has a staff that's going to be willing to sit him down if he does go into a slump and say, hey, just watch. Just watch. And let's get out of this. Let's break out of this slump. He absolutely is on the right staff that will do that. And I really hope he doesn't do that, just like you hope, and we all hope he doesn't. But if he does do that, I'm confident that the coaching staff will know how to handle it and possibly get him out of it a lot quicker than many other staffs, coaching staff, stuff like that. So I think he's on the right team in the right situation for that. Yeah, and let's not forget he played his whole first, for a good chunk of his first season with what was that, a nagging wrist injury. So kid knows playing through diversity already, which is something you can't teach. That's just something you have to be willing to do that without a doubt.
Yeah. Bryin asked, would you swap Schneider for Cam Talbot?
Oh, man.
Okay, a healthy Schneider is better than Cam Talbot. When Schneider is on his game, and this is the problem, is 1 year Schneider had no team in front of him and zero defensive help, and people are like, he's letting up too many soft goals, and then they start messing with his positioning and this, that, and the other thing, and he felt bad because he flat out said he felt like he got Terreri fired. But this year, when he was on his game, he was incredible. And that's the thing, is you see what Corey Schneider can be. And I think there's too much of the he's not Marty crap out there that's floated out there.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
That whoever the next goaltender is going to be, I think won't have to deal with it as much. There'll probably be a lot of those people that are like, "Ooh, he's not Marty, Kemp." Let's not forget, Marty let up a lot of softies
like
too.
Again. That's the thing. No one's going to be like Marty ever again.
Yeah. So I mean, I would stick with Schneider. I just throwing it out there that if they're both playing really well, then it becomes a scenario where you could flip one of them to get something in return, and it could be something really nice in return. So
agreed.
That's what
you want. You want to make sure though it's ready made, and the person's going to fit into the lineup.
Schneider is the reason we haven't had the number pick for the last 4 years. The number pick.
We got the number 1 pick last year.
Yeah, we did.
I think if you have a healthy Snyder playing with the team in front of him that we have, and that the Devils are going to build up over the summer, I think it'll be a different Corey Snyder. Plus, we brought in the old goalie coach that he had in Vancouver, and I think that's going to make a world of difference. Once he's back from this injury completely, I think you're going to see a better Snyder come this coming season. And on top of that, in the back of his mind, he knows that Kincaid can take it and run with it.
Yes.
So there's a guy behind him that has proven that he can take the team and run with it and do well. So he's got his own motivations there.
Oh, indeed. Matthew says JVR and Atkinson, but I'm pretty sure that Cam Atkinson is signed to a deal. I'm not 100% sure. I got to double check, but I don't think he's going to be a UFA. But Matthew does bring up a great point. With the year that Hall had and the year that the Devils had last year, it's going to be more enticing for a lot of, free agents to actually want to come over,
yes,
where they're not going to be like, oh, I don't want to go to this team that's like digging in a cellar and, sucking swamp over there. Like, you see a team that's rebuilding, like revitalized and turning the corner and really starting to make strides and going in the right direction. Guys coming back like Coleman. There's a couple of question marks. Are they going to bring Maroon back? Who I think they should. I think Maroon would be a great fourth liner to bring back. Grabner, I was a huge fan when they brought him over. I was a big fan of the acquisition.
He kind of disappeared a little bit.
He did. It was a little disappointing. So, I mean, maybe if you bring him back and he's in the system for an entire year, but I mean, that could be an insurance policy. If you can't get a JVR, if you can't get Carlson, if you can't get some of these other bigger names, maybe you just go out and you get the guy that you had brought in last year and you give him a solid chance to just get his legs underneath him,
And just speaking of free agents, in case anyone was wondering, I got an alert before saying that the Devils and Kovalchuk have had no talks. In case anybody's wondering.
It's gonna happen, right?
I did see.
It's gonna happen.
I want to say saw something somewhere about the possibility of Kovalchuk, not to the Rangers, but to the Islanders.
But to the Islanders, especially if Lou's going to be there.
Yeah,
they are. You know what? If anything would shock me, that wouldn't. If he went, and to be all honest with you, I'd be okay with it. I wouldn't care in the slightest.
Absolutely.
It is so weird how I feel about the Islanders. Like I cannot stand the Rangers. Like I loathe everything about the Rangers, right?
Yeah.
The Islanders are like, they're like, hey, it's like the kid that you knew in high school. They're like, oh, hey, it's Frank. Oh yeah. All right. Hey Frank, how you doing? Don't hang out with me. I'm just saying hello to you. Just
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. It's like I have no issues with Islander fans and with the Islanders or Islander fans. I have friends that are Islander fans, Ranger fans, and it's just like I have no disdain for the Islanders like I do for the Rangers. It's crazy, but you're right. It's this weird thing. It's you can go there. It just doesn't. It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't piss me off.
It's not your first hate.
Yeah.
It's not your first hate. The Rangers are your first hate. The Islanders are not
and then
even.
The Flyers are a damn close second.
Oh yeah. Oh. So, Sam thinks the Islanders are the black sheep cousins of the Devils. They're the ones not invited to dinner because they break things and steal your stuff.
Yeah. Even their fans, you ever go to a Devils Islanders game and the Devils lose and the fans are walking out and they're like doing that yes cheer and you're just like, guys. Oh, guys. Like, oh man. Like actually, I have go ahead.
I got an extra banner from an Islander fan on Elias night because as I was walking through the concourse, an Islander fan and his girlfriend walking in and they were handed the banner and he looked at it, he's like, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, I'll take it. And he's like, sure. He just handed it to me. Like a Ranger fan would have done something to it before handing it to you if they would have even done it. And Sam brings up a good point. Both teams hate the Rangers.
That's right. And that's our mutual love
enemy
for
of
each
your
other.
enemy is my friend. So it is. We do have that mutual
it's like
hatred.
I worked with a kid who was like a diehard Islander fan, and him and I used to talk about it all the time, like that hatred you'd have for like the Rangers, and we kind of equivalented it to like, both of us have dated the same girl and she did us both wrong, and it's like it's the one thing that brings you together is the hatred for that one girl.
Yeah,
and you're like,
exactly.
I don't really like you that much, but you know what, man, she sucks.
And that's what the Rangers suck.
Yeah,
we'll just go flat out and say it. Just flat out and say it.
Bunch of garbage. Anyways, Kevin says, I still don't think that we have a huge chance of getting the top free agents. I think Shiro is trading the first this year. I don't know. Honestly, I still think that they have a chance of getting top free agents. I mean, I don't think it's way out of the question. They have the cap room to do it. Shattenkirk last year didn't come to the Devils just because he had this love affair with the blue shirts, and I'll bet you a part of him was kicking himself afterwards, like watching what the Devils were doing and then just being like, but if we got him, we wouldn't have gotten Butcher, so it worked out.
Well, and I want to say it's possible, but you also have to think the Devils were punching way above their weight this season. The Devils were way ahead of what they should have been. And I think after seeing what the Devils did with not really a full-out roster, you can't say that we weren't missing pieces, that's for sure. But you're looking at a team that is now going to be putting the last couple pieces of the puzzle together, and you may get that free agent that says, you know what, I can be that piece of the puzzle, and I want to go there. So you can get those guys because we are very close. We are at least on the upswing. We're on the upswing. We're not going down. We're going up, and that's what. If you want to win, if you want to potentially win, that's the type of team you want to go to. Either a team that can win it this year or a team that can possibly win it. And it's not far out of the realm of possibility saying that we are building ourselves to be a long-term contender. Not a flash in the pan, but a young team that as long as the core can stay together. Edmonton. Oh, yeah, well, that's true because they did really well, and then this past year they were not.
Which there was a lot of like a hangover from them making the playoffs, and there was like this big excitement about, look what we were doing. We got Connor McDavid, we got the McJesus of hockey, and blah 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 blah. And it was great, and it was cool, and it was great to watch. But then, like, you had guys come back, and it was like Lucic really, his play took a dip, and a couple other guys like didn't really play the way they have. And then, you were missing some key guys that were in that run. But I just don't want to see the Devils fall into that trap like Edmonton did last year.
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna go back to the coaching staff that we have. They are more than willing to do whatever they need to do to get the team either A, keep them motivated, B, get them remotivated, or C, be like, listen, here's what you need to do. You need to just sit and watch. So that, I think, is where we have the difference. Is we are more than willing to take a guy and bench him.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to learn. They seem to have learned what works with who.
I don't know. I felt like Severson was a little bit of a lost cause, especially the second half. I felt like they weren't connecting with him, and they weren't really. They were benching him, and it didn't seem like he would come back and have that fire. You just, I don't know.
So
I don't
now
know if he was handled 100%.
Well, you can also say, is that a lack of understanding on the coach's part on the player, or is that a player not, or is that a player responding negatively because of an attitude? So we don't know that whole story. So who's to tell why he didn't respond to that? There's a million reasons why he wasn't responding to that. But you have a coaching staff that sat your top player in the last game of the season who needed one more goal to get to 40. And that player had no issue with it. So you have your top guys buying into what this coaching staff wants to do. When the top guy buys in a situation like that, that shows the rest of the team that, hey, you know what? I got benched 3 weeks ago. Taylor Hall's not playing tonight. Obviously, something is going right here. So that's always a positive. That's that's another big thing too. When you have your big guys buying into what this coaching staff is willing to do and going along with it, complaint free. Now, who's to say that deep down Taylor Hall was like, oh, I would have loved one more shift just to get one more goal. It's possible. The guy's a competitor. You got to guarantee there was something inside of him. As much as he'd said otherwise, there's got to be something inside of him that wanted that 40th goal. However, you wouldn't know it if that was the case because he didn't say it out loud at all.
Yeah.
So when you have your top guys buying in, that is awesome.
Yeah, Kevin McNally just asked if we think Mikey McLeod is going to make the team. As I mentioned earlier, I am a big believer.
Stop. Do we think that he's actually going to make the team, or is he going to make Beer Baron's team? Because I know the answer. If he's going to make Beer Baron's team, it's resounding yes. It's a resounding.
And NHL,
where were you 4 weeks ago?
NHL 19. Yeah, he's making my team. All right.
He's on your cover. What are you talking about? He's on your cover.
He is. No, I mean, it's just I respect the heck out of the kid. I just feel like he has a lot of the potential to be moving up to the next level. I think he's got a lot of skill. He's got a lot of, I don't know, whatever. He's got a lot of speed. He's got a lot of skill. Who I'm excited to see next year? Miles Wood. That dude took such a huge step this year, he kind of flew under the radar. He flew under the radar. Him and Coleman. Gibbons is a UFA. He's another one that's a UFA, and I would love to see him come back because he was he played such a good role on the team and was awesome. Killing penalties. I remember when he scored the goal on that 5-on-3 penalty kill. I damn near jumped through the TV. I was so excited. But I honestly feel like there's so many guys from this team last year that you have to bring that core back. You have to bring back that Coleman. You bring back that, the Miles Wood. You bring back this young, exuberant energy. You just you plug in one or two little pieces here and there, and I feel like they can take that next step. But they have to be kind of significant plugs. They have to be, you can't just plug in, some dude that's on the back end of his career and just hope for him. Like Stafford was a great player and he's a great guy, but I don't think that's the type of player that this team needs. I think they need somebody that like a JVR or hell, that's Tavares.
And I think the coaching staff and Shero are going to do that this summer. They're going to take a look at what they have, take a look at what worked, take a look at what can be improved, take a look at who can be moved. And I think they will find those pieces and they will plug those holes. And I think that's what they exactly will do. And I don't think they're going to, they're not going to bet the farm on bringing one guy in that's going to be a negative because we have to give up, 4 or 5 pieces just to get in one player. The math right there, to send 4 players for one, the math there isn't good in our favor. And even though we were quite deep this year, which we saw that, and we had some great rotation, you kind of want to maintain that to preserve players for the playoffs, to make sure that they are not overworking and catching nagging injuries that are going to keep them out for a while. So you do want to have that depth. Plus, you also want to have that guy nipping at the heels of, the last forward or the last defenseman, saying that, hey, listen, you dip just a little bit. There's a guy right behind you.
Exactly. And, not to bring in baseball as a comparison, you look at what the Yankees have done with their farm system, where you have guys they're ready to go as soon as they come up. You have an injury, it's not going to decimate your team. You have an injury, it doesn't matter. You reach down in the minors, you bring somebody up, he jumps in and he's just as good, if not better sometimes. So I feel like Shero is doing an amazing job of starting to rebuild the cabinet. You have to think about it, like our farm system was pretty well decimated by the time he got here.
Yes.
So you see, like, he's starting to rebuild. He's starting to bring like all these guys in. They made a signing a couple of weeks ago. They signed, which further escalated my Kovalchuk conspiracy theory, and I'll tell you why in a second. I'm not going to go and looking for his name right now. Douglas Walker brought up Joey Anderson. Yes, Joey Anderson has a huge potential of joining the team. But the Devils just signed a defenseman from the KHL.
Yes,
he was on the Olympic team. Dude he's a solid defenseman. Stood out there in the Olympics, and also is best friends with Ilya Kovalchuk. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. I agree. I mean, it could possibly be just Kovalchuk also coming back to the area, and someone else is in the area he knows as well, which that may guarantee him to come back to the area. Which one of the 3 he goes to, as long as it's not the Rangers, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So
watch him become a Flyer. This is bad.
Man. That's
just
worse.
As bad.
I think that's worse.
I don't know. Now, if he's a Ranger, that's worse, because if he has any sort of success, it just pisses me off worse.
Doug Walker's not a fan of Covey. We'll just put that out there.
Yeah, that's true. And yes,
Sound effect Sam is in the house.
Kevin agrees that Anderson is going to be a good player. I feel like Anderson's going to be a very, very solid player. That kid has taken some serious strides in his hockey career, and if you've been following his career path, if he goes to Tampa Bay, but that's Kovalchuk is going to Tampa Bay, that would make a lot of sense too, because it's Florida, no taxes, and he's like all about money.
Yep, absolutely.
But Joey Anderson he's a possibility of. I think Joey Anderson is going to be in the AHL next year, and he's going to cultivate down there, and he's going to come up. Probably, he'd be one of those guys that came up like middle of the year, and would just be a solid NHLer. But I have a lot of hope in him too. I just
like the fact that we have options that are yet to come up, that are going to come up, that there's nothing, that there's a future there, and the depth of our current team as well. So I'm pretty happy with the direction the Devils are going in, and I have all the confidence in the world the staff is going to do nothing but positive additions this summer.
Agreed.
I'm sure of that. Kobe to the Pens. I don't know
they
about
can't
that.
afford it.
No, they
don't have the.
There's no room there.
They have no room. And this would be nice. We sign Kovalchuk, flip him for Phil Kessel.
Someone brought up bringing Kessel here. I don't know if it was in the group earlier or something, but Phil Kessel. If Phil Kessel comes to the Devils, we need to invite him out to Tavern on the Rocks for an all-night bender. Because he was
straight up bender.
Table, without a doubt, I guarantee. Put us all under the table.
I just want to hang out with him. I want to, right? I just want to be friends with Phil Kessel. I don't care who he plays for. I just want to be friends with the guy.
That would be cool. Bobby said, "What if Ovi recruits Covey to go to DC?" I don't know if Covey would go to DC. Not
I don't
quite
think
sure
they can
about
afford him either.
Nah.
Yeah, hot dogs for Kessel.
Hot dogs all day,
dude. He's a beast. He looks like such a beer leaguer, and then you watch him play, and you're like, he's so good.
I know.
Like, when he turns it on, but then when he's like over sitting on the bench, you're like, that dude looks like he's so out of shape and so like fat and bald, and you're like, that dude looks like a straight up beer leaguer, but he is so nasty.
Kessel dollar hot dog night.
There you go.
That would be great.
Kessel crowds.
So in the week coming up, real quick, we have what? Game 4 is Tuesday, correct?
Is it Tuesday or I thought it was tomorrow?
It might be.
Double check.
I don't know. I've been so out of the loop in the last 48 hours. You have no idea. It's been a bender of benders. All I know is that this time when we do our podcast next week, we could have the Stanley Cup be awarded by the podcast this time next week.
Which will be pretty cool because then we can start shifting gears out of the season, get into the fun stuff.
The draft is not too far away. That's the 23rd, I think, right?
Dude.
I think the draft's the 23rd.
Faster than you believe. Yeah, I believe you're right.
Coming up.
Draft's coming up, and then right around the corner is one of the best days of the year.
Yeah, free agency. And that's a regular podcast night, so we're going to have to do some kind of free agent show.
I agree.
I'm assuming this is the new outro music that Sam is going here. The sound effects Sam sound effects Sam is not on the podcast tonight.
I tell you what though, if we were able to get Kessel, they should have like a dollar hot dog night, and I would kill to see him score a goal that night because how many hot dogs would be flying out into the middle of the ring?
Oh, I'd launch a hot dog or 8 onto the ice.
100%.
I would absolutely launch one. Oh. All right, well, we've outlasted the music. So I think I'm going to be honest. I think it's time to wrap it up because 48 hours in Dublin really is a killer. Good time.
Really wears you down.
It wears you down. It wears you down. But awesome city. If you ever have a chance to visit Dublin, I highly suggest it. I will be going back to Dublin. That's for sure. So
definitely.
Any last thoughts, Beer Baron, before we wrap this up for the night?
Just this. Thank you to everybody out there. Happy birthday to my wife, who is I don't know what she's doing right now, but happy birthday to her.
Is her birthday today?
It was today. Yes, it was today.
She shares a birthday with my mom. My mom's birthday was today as well. So
she's standing in the kitchen right now. So you share a birthday with Shorts Guy's mom. She goes, oh, and she must be a lovely lady. She said
she is, and she got a bottle of Irish cream from Ireland for her birthday. So she's pretty pumped. Cool. So happy birthday to your wife, and happy birthday to my mom.
Yes, happy birthday to Mrs. Schwartz.
And by this time next week, we could possibly have a Stanley Cup given out, and we can shift completely to the draft, which is going to be a lot of fun. So, sound effects, Sam, if you're ready for the outro, I'm ready to say goodnight. Beer Baron, it's been fun again. So, sound effects, Sam, I hope you're ready to cut this. But until next time, let's go Devils.
Nice dissolve.